come to my attention in recent months that I've not been doing my shoelaces properly. It's a big thing for me. I grew up in Lambeth, southwest London, possibly London's dirtiest borough, full of dogs. The dogs run the streets. I grew up in a bedsit. I never had my own room. I was always playing on the floor. Subbuteo, I was obsessed with Subbuteo. There were its offshoots, car football, a game played with my cousins and my friends. There was Star Wars football, an offshoot of car football, always on the floor. Gradually I hit my teens. I became aware that I was playing on the floor. People were coming into the bedsit. They weren't taking their shoes off. They were bringing the street into the home. So I looked at the things that I could do. One of the things was, if I could just direct the cameraman down to the ground, one of the things was indoor shoe removal. That was important. The other thing was making sure that my shoelaces were done tightly, double knotting, so that my shoelaces weren't dragging on the ground. Lately, I found that's not the case. And I've been looking at why this is happening, and I am aware this is something that was certainly not happening in the 80s. So I've been thinking about why this is suddenly becoming a problem. Why are my shoelaces suddenly dragging behind me? You may be looking at my hair, you may be thinking, well, this guy, look at the bouffon, this guy's got bigger problems, he really needs to address the hair first. I can understand that, but it's just a curiosity thing in me. I'm getting older, I want to know why doing my shoelaces is suddenly a problem, why are they suddenly dragging behind me? And I think it comes down to accommodation. We are living in smaller accommodation. We are paying more for our accommodation. The hallway, which is critical to me wherever I've lived, this is where I take my shoes off and I can go into the rest of the flat, no matter how tiny it is, without my shoes on. I keep the streets out, but we are all now living in confined spaces, sharing with each other. We're all living on top of each other. This is not a good way to live. Hallways are critical. You need a place where you can take your shoes off, wander into the rest of your place, shoe free, keep it clean. But the hallways are getting smaller. Look at this. £900 a month, I can't even stretch my arms fully. How can you live like this? It is going to affect you when you're putting your shoes on. It's going to affect your exit. It's also an age thing, I think, and I'm going to demonstrate why I think it's an age thing. These are my shoes. An ugly pair of shoes. When you get to a certain age, you stop caring. It's about comfort. I'm a pedestrian, I don't drive. My shoes, they've got to be comfortable. So ignore the fact it's an ugly shoe, ignore the fact it's probably a make of shoe that you've never heard of. I think I'm getting older, I'm not getting down as low as I used to do my laces. There's no more spring in the haunches. I can get down like that, but I'm not as agile as I used to be. So I'm cutting corners, getting down into my shoe, normally the right shoe first. The accommodation's tiny again. Look, the lack of space, very small hallway. Put my shoe on. There's hardly any space to put my shoe on, so I'm not even getting down properly. I'm leaning down like this. I'm doing my laces. I just want to get out of here. I want to forget this is how I'm living. That spring, it's no longer there. Back in the day I would have been like this. I would have had a wider hallway. I'd have been taking my time. I'd have been double knotting. Those days are gone. This is the future. It's only going to get worse. I'm not even going to have this space in the care home. I think the best way to deal with the small hallway is to endure it yourself. To have to share a tiny hallway with someone is a very difficult thing. If you're a lodger as well and you're living with a landlord, you're struggling to get out the house in time. You've got this small space. You can hear them in another room. Any minute now they're going to come out. They're going to make some small talk. They're going to ask you where you're going. I don't do well with small talk. I don't get into conversations unless I know how I can end them. I'm not a small talk kind of guy, so that's a little problem for me. Relationships. in a small hallway like this, they could also be in danger. You're on top of each other, you may not know each other well, you're in a poorly converted flat, you can hear the neighbours urinating, all this pressure slowly strangling the romance from your relationship. Also, as I've made clear to you, I've got the no shoes beyond the hallway rule, very difficult to enforce in a small hallway like this. It's a rule very rarely, I found in my experience, observed by women. So with that in mind, what I've done in the past is I've employed a sneaky little tactic which involves a bit of spare carpet, which I will lay, because ideally, I mean, this is the front room, this is the hallway. Ideally, you don't want any shoes beyond here. Really, ideally, you don't want any shoes beyond this blue mat, really. You've got the bedroom in there. You really shouldn't be walking with shoes in this area. But, I mean, as long as you make sure they don't go into the front room, that's the main thing. So, matching carpet overlay. This isn't a dimmer. Let me just see. If you dim the lights, if you knock the lights off, that's not going to be that obvious. So you can come in, you've got your shoes on, you can pretend you're not as uptight as they already think you are. You're wandering into the front room, you're pretending you're doing your shoes off in the front room. You're a more relaxed kind of guy. That's how you're presenting yourself. That is a tactic I employ to get partners to take their shoes off. You don't want any shoes in there. Don't bring the street inside your house. I've been looking at ways to resolve this, and I've come up with an idea based on sanitary towels, really, and the wings. So what I've done is I've taken my trainer and just put it on a piece of paper to design a template for it. Now, the problem I'm having is I'm doing my laces. I've mentioned I'm not getting down low on the floor in the hallway, so that's where I'm going wrong. The laces aren't being done properly. I'm certainly not double knotting, so they're often flapping at the sides. If you can just get a shot of that one on the right hand side, so that when I'm outside, that will be touching the ground. So I've designed a couple of wings. You get a better look here. A couple of wings that would be attached to the sole of the shoe as I'm walking, and as I'd be walking down the street, any flapping would be covered by these wings, essentially in the shape of a bow, if you like. Here we go. So I've had these made. These would be attached on the underside of the trainer, taking great care here not to touch the sole with my hand. And there we go. I am ready to go. So here we are, it's the big day, ready to pilot these, which I'm going to fix onto the underside of my trainers. It's a beautiful day in the park. Unfortunately, over to my left we've got a personal trainer working out with one of his clients, which is quite unnecessary, something I don't agree with. They should just get in the gym. This park will be full of dog muck, which is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing here today. So we've cut out the bow-shaped cutouts, which are going to go on the underside of my trainer. Bit of blue tack there. I will collect my rubbish afterwards. That's just going to go here in line with the laces. Tack it on. I think it was George Costanza who once said the thing about pioneers is that they don't always come back. Right, that should be stuck on there. Have a look at that. Any low laces are going to make contact with that second one. I feel good today. I feel like this is why I'm here, you know. Let's give that a try. Didn't think I was for 1 minute going to sit on that without anything protecting me. It's only the travel section. Working class guy, not going anywhere, no curiosity for the world whatsoever. Southwest London's as far as I go. And this is me, just going to take a short walk up there and see how it all goes.